Well, hello my people. So this is the final part of the cross contour line value. So this is a major grade. I know initially I showed you guys how to do the line value on an apple, and I feel like that didn't really help you guys to see really what I was looking for in the three-dimensional realm. So I hope that this video will help you a little bit more. I actually started over, and as you can see, I used a bell pepper to showcase that idea. So I wanted to just go back over the couple of steps that you guys did with the last assignment. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when I grade your assignment, and actually I'm filming today is Tuesday, and I haven't graded your assignment yet, but what I am going to do on those two drawings that you guys turned in is I am going to write out corrections on your particular assignment. Say for instance, if your cross contour lines, if they're not curving correctly with your object, or if for some reason, like in your stage where you actually added additional lines to your drawing, if they're not spaced correctly or curved correctly with your object, I'm going to let you know, and I'll write down what you need to do to correct your work. So, keep those things in mind, because that is 25 points of my grading criteria for this assignment. So what I wanted to show you guys, first of all, is this is kind of backtracking, but this is the first little stage of your last assignment. So your last assignment, you did your contour drawing, and then you added the center lines to your piece, and the center lines that are going vertically are helping the horizontal curve lines to know where to curve, like the height of the curve would hit, like in the middle of every section. So if you look at it and your drawings, like your divisions and stuff like that, are not quite curved as well as they could be, go back and check those things out. So the next thing that y'all did is you guys, in each of your curved sections, you're going to add some lines to that. And each section, I think I'd said before, you are approximating. You don't have to fully measure this thing, but you do want your lines to be relatively even. You want them to, like the spacing of the curve, to be even. Sometimes you're going to have some little uneven dips and things like that, like I've got right here, and then I've got kind of a little extra dip right there, and that's absolutely fine. But this is kind of like if you were to turn it in, I was to grade it, like I said, today is Tuesday, that this would be a good result for that particular grade. So we're on to what we are actually working on with this assignment. So the other part, the 75 points that you guys are going to be earning for your major grade on this assignment, is going to deal with adding additional cross contour lines, as well as you guys are going to be adding some lines in. It's hatching. It's like value map type lines. So you guys, what y'all did initially, whenever you did the contour line, you all actually value mapped, and I've got some little sections here where it shows that these lines are value mapped. Now, for most of you guys, y'all did not shade in these things, but I was gonna show you just with this, like how you guys would actually shade these in. So you would observe your photo that you guys have, and you can also observe your object in life. But what you will do is you will take just the dark and the medium values, and you'll just start with hatching lines. And I'm just kind of taking my lines, and it's curving, but it's going horizontally with my object, and I'm just kind of lightly adding my little hatched lines to my drawing. Now if you see like a heavier area, like a darker area, you can add more lines right there. So like for instance, I've got a medium area coming out of this dark area, and the dark area, if I wanted to go back, and I'm kind of exaggerating that. You don't have to make it crazy dark or anything at this stage. You're just helping to kind of map out like where you actually might add, you're going to be adding additional lines to your work. So this will kind of help you a little bit with just the direction of where you need to go. So I mean, basically what I'm doing is I'm just going like this to make my value. I'm just doing hatching lines. At this stage, you don't have to do a cast shadow. Eventually, you're going to be doing a cast shadow, and you're going to be doing something in your background. But right now, you guys are just going to make kind of light, just indicate it with some light lines so that you guys will know where the medium, and I would do like a one for more of a medium value, and then as things get darker, you can do some darker value, some lines that are closer together for that darker value, and just keep it neat, keep it kind of light. You can always darken it as you go. So the next thing that you guys are going to end up doing, you can see how this thing has changed a little bit. So you go from this stage where you do have the value mapped lines, but you don't have additional lines that you guys added. In the places where I had shown, like, you know, I have kind of a medium area right here. You kind of see that. I've added an additional line in that little place. So I'm starting to gradually add some lines in the area where I went and I value mapped in just those areas. Now in the lighter areas, I'm kind of leaving those blank. Some of those, they do kind of trickle over some of your, the value that you guys see. It does come over to those areas right there. So yeah, so just leave the light areas as is, and then add additional lines to the medium areas. Now you're going to add on the next stage, you're going to end up dividing these sections, some of these sections, especially like in the darker areas, into even smaller sections. So I would say your 1/2 inch areas that you had originally, like these things, you might end up having maybe 3 additional lines, just depending on what you want in your medium areas. You don't have to go berserk on it. The main thing is just to continue to curve your line and make it the same as each little section that you guys have. So the next thing that you guys will see, these are the additional lines that you all are adding. So you're going to, in the really dark areas, you're going to take your pencil and you're going to add those additional lines. I'm not going berserk because I really do not have that many dark areas. I mean, the majority of my piece is kind of a medium area. Now, I do have, and what I would encourage you to do, if you don't have any extreme dark areas, add those, because that's what's going to add the weight, and that's what's going to add the interest in your piece. If you're just floating around just adding these medium areas, it's not going to be as believable, and it's not going to have the depth and the interest than if you added something that's heavier. So you're just going to go and, like, even on these little spaces, I know y'all can't really see all that well, but you could add, and you're just, it's sort of up to your discretion as to what you're going to add to these things. So, but still your line value, let's just say for instance this is kind of a darker area, your line value would go in the direction of your form. You might end up like tapering off your line, or it could be end up being a broken line, or it could actually stop right there. It could be a little bit thicker right here if you're wanting something like that. So I'll make this a little bit darker here. So like I said, I'm just dividing out further what's already there. And like I said, you can kind of choose what you want to do. When you're tapering your line off, just make sure that it curves in the direction of your form though. So the next thing that you guys are going to do, and this is just something that will help you guys to feel like, you know, this is your piece, although this is an assignment, but this is up to you. You do have to do a background, and you do need to do some kind of value shadow. One thing I would check is just the value shadow that you see in your picture. You're going to draw out the shape of what you see in your value shadow, and you are going to draw that. This is done with hatching lines. So what I ended up doing, I ended up just going like, I've just got little lines. So I'm just kind of going like this. And then I'm crossing just like that, and it's going in the shape of my shadow that I see. Usually in a shadow, you're going to have a very light area. It's usually around the object. You might see a little hole like around your objects. Is going to be darker right here, and then eventually it will fade out right here. So, you know, do the best you can with that. I know some of you guys, this is new to you, and I get it. I completely get it. But, you know, definitely do your best to observe what you see. The last thing that I ended up doing was, in my background, I created a vignette. And if you look at vignette in photography, it's usually where you have a darker edge around your object, and you usually have it's almost like a spotlight right here, and it brings attention to your object. Your purpose for your background is really to highlight and to showcase your actual object. It's not to detract. I would say a little goes a long way. And what I ended up doing was I added, this is kind of like a little atmospheric perspective. So I added just little cross hatchy lines right here around my border. And then I just brought it up. And what's great about this really is the style that I'm doing here is very similar. Like if you look at the hatching style that's going on in my object, it's very similar to that. So, you know, I know some of you guys, you are learning a lot with this particular assignment. The thing that I would encourage you to do is obviously look at my examples, pay attention to this video, and just email me your works in progress if you have any questions. But I look forward to seeing what you have, and I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. So best wishes to y'all.